Well, folks, you've heard me many times refer to all of the wonderful gems that we have right here in our very own backyard. But for today's very special show, I think I can honestly say that we are going to be visiting the biggest and brightest gem of all. Hi, welcome to Around the Town with Marilyn Forbes. For today's show, we're going to be going back to Fallingwater, and we're going to be spending the morning walking the grounds, checking out the house, and learning all about the history of this wonderful, exceptional masterpiece. So please, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Fallingwater is a world-famous house designed by architect Frank Lloyd Wright. It was the vacation home of the Kaufmann family of Pittsburgh. They were a very wealthy family of three. They owned Kaufmann's department store. And at the time that Fallingwater was constructed, they were all adults. Edgar Kaufmann Sr., his wife Lillian, and their only son, Edgar Kaufmann Jr.
Now, it was through the son, actually, how they got introduced to Frank Lloyd Wright, right? Wasn't he an apprentice or something for him at one point? Okay.
Yes, that's true. So Edgar Kaufmann Jr., at the time that Fallingwater was designed and constructed, he was a young man in his 20s, and he was trying out different professions. He was trying
to find himself. Okay.
Exactly, yeah. He was trying his hand as an artist and then as an architect with Frank Lloyd Wright at his school, which was called the Taliesin Fellowship.
Oh, okay.
And so he was studying with Frank Lloyd Wright in the 1930s, and he was able to introduce his parents to Frank Lloyd Wright.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. And so did Frank Lloyd Wright actually come and see this site itself, or was he given pictures, or how did he actually go about designing what we're going to be seeing here in a little bit?
Yeah, so Wright, he came here in 1934, and he visited the site. He took inspiration from the shapes, the sounds, the colors, the textures, everything that he saw. All of these factored into his design for Fallingwater. So Fallingwater is very site-specific. It reflects the beauty of our area. It really couldn't exist anywhere else in the world.
And he originally wanted to build it downstream, correct? Because he wanted there to be a view of the falls versus being over them.
Yes, that's what the Kaufmanns thought was going to happen. They were looking for Wright to design a modest cabin in the woods, a weekend house, and one where they could maybe enjoy the waterfall that's here on site.
Oh, okay.
They really appreciated. They were outdoorsy people. They like to spend time in nature. And so when they were here on site, they were relaxing. They were escaping the smog of Pittsburgh in the 1930s. And they were really here just to kick back and relax and enjoy nature.
Well, they did have I guess a small, pretty rustic cabin here prior that was like their getaway. Then they decided they just wanted to go bigger.
Yes.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So before Fallingwater was here on this property, it was used as a summer camp for the Kaufmann store employees.
That's what I thought. I thought I had read that. Okay.
Yeah, and the Kaufmanns had their own cabin here. It was called the Hangover. It was built precariously close to a cliff, but yes, they also, I think, like to party.
Oh, I thought the latter myself. That's immediately what I went to. But, and I think something too fun that I read was the original estimate was $35,000. I just think that is amazing, and it ended up being what, 150, 155?
Yes, yeah.
Which, you know, when you think about that, $155,000 in today, that's really, I mean, it's a lot of money, but for a house, it really isn't. But in today's numbers, that equates to 3.3 million.
Yes, yeah.
Which might be a little bit more realistic when you think about what we're going to see as far as price-wise.
Definitely, yeah. It's also significant that the house was constructed during the Great Depression. And so the people who actually constructed Fallingwater were Fallingwater's immediate neighbors, people who were maybe out of work during the Depression and took up a trade like construction or masonry and came here and got employment and built the house. So a lot of the last names of the construction workers here at Fallingwater are the same last names that are still Fallingwater's neighbors today.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh my, but was it ever actually lived in as a residence?
Not full time.
Okay.
Yeah, so they really did visit as a weekend home, and the Kaufmanns had some other vacation properties as well. But
What else would they need?
So true.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. The Kaufmanns enjoyed Fallingwater until Edgar Sr. and Lillian passed away in the mid-50s. Edgar Kaufmann Jr. inherited the house, and he enjoyed it to himself only about another 10 years.
Oh.
And then he decided to turn the house into a museum and make it available to the public.
Oh, okay.
And that happened in 1963. He
Okay.
entrusted it to the Western Pennsylvania Conservancy.
And didn't you just get a new distinction recently? The
We-
house.
We did. Fallingwater was designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2019, just before the pandemic. And so I don't know if we have properly celebrated it yet, but we are so excited and so honored and thrilled. I know at the Western Pennsylvania Conservancy now to be caring for and presenting a UNESCO World Heritage
That's
Site
wonderful.
right here in Fayette County.
That's amazing. Oh. And it is, we always talk about the gems of Fayette County, but I think this has to be like the truest gem. It's just I don't know. As I said the first time I was here, it's hard to describe. It definitely is. Now, you want to tell us a little bit about the outside before we go in?
Sure, I can tell you a little bit about it, but I agree with what you said. I think the best way to understand it is just to come and experience it. So I hope that our viewers will just come and visit and see it for yourself.
Oh,
But I'm happy to tell you a little bit about what we're seeing. So from this angle, you can really see Fallingwater sticks out over the stream. It's hovering over the stream. It almost looks like it's floating. And that's because the terraces are cantilevered. So the weight of the terraces is supported on the back side by these heavy stone walls and that vertical core that we see, the chimney mass. And that is the counterbalance that makes it possible for these terraces to float above the stream as they do. You can also appreciate that the first floor, we're the only ones here, which is amazing in itself.
Oh, I know. My goodness, what a treat.
So you can really see how transparent that first floor is. If you look through the windows of the first floor, you can see all the way through to the trees on the other side. And because of the cantilever construction, there are no interior walls necessary to hold up the ceiling, and therefore it opens up that first floor.
Well, okay. Are you ready to go inside? Can
Sure.
we take a peek in? Okay.
Yeah.
Stay with us. We're going inside. Now, how many bedrooms is in here?
In the main house, there are 4 bedrooms.
Okay.
And there's 1 additional bedroom in the guest house, and then 3 bedrooms for staff in the staff quarters.
So here we are. Oh, this is wonderful. This is large. Now, do you have a lot of people say that? Or a lot of people surprised by how large it is inside?
We do get that comment a lot, that people are surprised. It looks larger than pictures really show. And that's why you really do just have to come and see it.
Oh, absolutely. This is kind of one of those, I'm sorry, but pictures don't do it justice, really. It has to be something you can experience. Now, I know that when we were at Kentuck Knob, that Mr. Wright actually, he designed a lot of the furniture there, a lot of the light fixtures and stuff. Was it the same as here? Did he design this as well inside, or?
Yes, actually, almost all of the furniture was designed by Wright, with the exception of some of these freestanding chairs that you see here. This room is filled with the Kaufmann's collection of fine art and decorative art and some of their own furnishings. And the way that it's curated, it's not a static collection, so objects and furniture might have moved since your last visit.
Oh, okay. Now this is, I've always been so intrigued by this. I wish we could go down there. But this is actually an area that I guess you could go and sit and put your feet in the water.
Yes,
It's
yeah.
just so neat.
And Actually, I can open it up for you since we're here by ourselves. So tours are not permitted to go down the hatch, but we're going to go down. These doors open up and this slides back.
Oh my gosh. Can we go down, really?
We can. This actually slides all the way back and disappears underneath the planter.
No, and what is this? Is this original to the house?
This is original.
Really?
This was designed by Wright.
I see. No, there you go. I don't remember this.
Yes.
So there you go.
Be really careful.
I will be.
Going down the steps.
I'm not going to go the whole way down. Oh, yes I am. I can hold on. Oh, this is so neat. Oh, look at there's a little pool over here as well. Was that like some type of a fish pond or something at one time, or?
This is a feature that was included for Mrs. Kaufmann, for Lillian Kaufmann.
Oh, okay.
She liked to start her day with a plunge, a quick dip into the cold water of the stream. So this is a plunge pool, and it was for Mrs. Kaufmann's morning ritual.
Oh, Ashley, let's go. Let's plunge in. Oh, this is great. And now the artwork, that's just part of their collection?
Yes, this was originally in the Kaufmann's collection. It's a sculpture by the artist Jacques Lipschitz, and it's called Mother and Child.
Okay. Oh my. This is so cool. Okay. Can we venture out on one of the terraces so we can get a...
Yes. This is one of the cantilevered terraces, and so when we step out here, we truly are floating above the stream.
Oh my.
And it's also one of the only places in the house where you can see the waterfall.
Really?
Yes.
And you can. Now I would be standing under that. That would be fun.
I really like to hear people's ideas for how they would use the house and what they would do. I think that's so fun, and that's a really important part of it, is to imagine how you might use it if this were your vacation home.
Sure. We should point out this is open year-round except for January and February?
Correct, yeah. In December, we're open on weekends only and the week between Christmas and New Year. But then we're closed in January and February. We reopen in March.
Okay.
We also have at least 2 days a year that are completely free for residents of Fayette County.
Oh, okay. So you
Yes.
just have to show that you live in Fayette County, and wow, that's awesome. And I'm
Yes.
sure they can get that on your website. We'll have that listed.
Yeah,
Okay.
the best way to make reservations for Fayette County Appreciation Day is to call our registration number, which is here.
Okay. Go to the website.
The magic of television.
Okay, and so we're going to check out the rest of the house?
So something else that's not on the general tour that I'll share with you is the kitchen.
Okay.
Follow me.
You going to cook us something while we're here?
Yes.
Oh, now this is cute.
Yeah.
Oh, I like the stove.
Yeah, so you're noticing the stove, that is an Aga stove. And the Kaufmann's cook, Elsie Henderson, mentioned that she did not really enjoy cooking on that stove, and she asked for an electric stove to cook on. But ultimately, when Fallingwater was turned into a museum, Edgar Kaufmann Jr. thought it was important that we have a stove like the Kaufmann's original stove.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And I like the refrigerator. That has to be, if that's not original, very, very close.
It's not original, it's a close approximation, but yes.
So this, for all intents and purposes, this is, I don't want to say plain, but this is just a working kitchen.
That's a really great observation. Compared to the rest of the house, a lot of people notice that this is pretty simple.
Yes.
And the reason for that is likely that the Kaufmanns did not spend a lot of time here.
Oh, okay.
They had a staff who traveled with them or stayed here, and the Kaufmanns themselves weren't necessarily here in the kitchen.
Okay. Well, makes sense. Like I said, this is very, I don't want to say cut and dry, but it gets its job done. Come in and cook or do your dishes or whatever. And
yeah.
But then you can still sit here and you have a fabulous view. And I love how these all open up. You have a little bit, you can hear from the screens. And these are all screened as well.
Yeah, from this angle you can see the terrace where we just were, and you can see how it's floating.
I love that floating. It's a floating terrace.
We should go out there and like wave.
I thought I saw somebody. That was your reflection. I said, oh my God, there's somebody here. It's a ghost. Well, this is not the only terrace. We have one more we can visit real quick.
Correct, yeah. So this is not the only cantilevered terrace. We're going to step out onto the East Terrace.
The East Terrace, okay.
Which is just over here.
Lead the way.
We are just giving you a glimpse of the house today, just focusing on the first floor here. And we hope that all of your viewers will come back and see the rest of the house.
The whole place. Make sure that you mention that you saw it on the show and that Marilyn sent you. Now this is fun, another fun little terrace.
Yeah, so the hatch that we went down, here you can look down onto it.
Oh, okay.
In this half circle opening.
So I could just sit out here. Now what I think is fun too, these beautiful petunias, these are inside. How fun is that? Now was there originally a garden like that when it was built, or is this something you folks added, or?
This is original. Yeah.
Oh my gracious.
And all of the floral arrangements and the planters in the house are arranged according to Mrs. Kaufmann's preferences. She liked for each arrangement to have one kind of flower in one color.
Oh, wow.
Very simple.
Very simple. Interesting. The attention to detail in this place is just amazing. And as we've said over and over again, we come back in here? As we said over and over again, the only way you can really, truly get to appreciate it is if you come and really, really check it out.
Yes, come and take the tour.
Okay, well, we're going to head back inside. Now, I think it's pretty cool. You were talking about, well, actually, whenever we first came up in, I'd mentioned how large this is. Do you want to explain this is actually a couple different rooms put together?
Absolutely, yeah. So you notice the big open floor plan whenever we first came in. On the floor plans of the house, this is called the living room, but in reality, it's a multi-use room. There are multiple rooms in one. So here in the living room, we have two conversation areas.
Here,
we have a dining room area. We have a music listening area.
Oh, okay.
And we also have a study.
I was going to say kind of like an office there. Okay.
Yeah, with a great partner's desk. I think I would really enjoy playing a board game or doing like a jigsaw puzzle there.
I was just going to say a puzzle.
Yes.
Oh my gracious.
Yeah.
Can we rent this for the weekend and come and do puzzles and
I wish.
go swimming?
That would be so fun. Yeah, I'm glad that you're picking up on how fun this house really is.
Oh, it is. It's fun.
Yeah.
I've said many times, the very first time I set foot in this place, I said, oh my gosh, how whimsical, because it is. It's whimsical and enchanting.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just, as I said, the attention to detail, even just the slightest thing, is amazing. Now this is cool. You want to tell us what's happening here?
Sure, yeah. So here at the hearth, we are seeing actually the boulder, the top of the boulder that this house is sited upon is coming up and through the floor. So in one of the elevation drawings that I saw of the hearth, these stones were not included. So that makes us think that maybe this is something they encountered and incorporated during the construction of the house, a pleasant surprise.
Oh, okay.
And this is actually the same boulder that you could see from the West Terrace looking back at the house. So the Wright's design really grows out of the boulders here on our site. And so here you literally see that. You see them coming through the floor.
That's amazing. And there's, as Ashley and I were talking, there are several of his designs where that was his idea, to incorporate nature into the home itself, almost so the two melded together. And that he has it right here.
Yeah, absolutely. His philosophy was called organic architecture.
Okay.
And that is architecture that is not only inspired by nature, but actually brings people like you and me closer to nature through the design of this building. So the entire time that we're here in Fallingwater, you might notice your attention is being drawn outward to the views in the windows. You might be feeling drawn to go out on the terraces or down the hatch And that's all part of the design. I think that Wright is sort of manipulating us through his design to want to go and look at nature or be outside.
Wow. And before we go, who's this gentleman?
Oh, of course. This is Edgar Kaufmann Sr.
Oh, senior. I would have guessed junior. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, this
what a handsome man.
Oh, I agree. This was painted around about the time that Fallingwater was commissioned and constructed.
Really? But, okay, now before we do, we are going to get back outside for the famous view. Please tell us, I know that there are a lot of volunteer opportunities here for folks and also employment opportunities too.
It's true. So in addition to coming as a visitor, there are so many opportunities to get involved here on our site. We are always recruiting volunteers. We could not have this operation as a museum without our amazing volunteer team. We are also hiring, so
okay.
Check our website, which is here, for volunteer opportunities and for job openings.
Okay, and I do know, I actually spoke with the young lady who is in charge of the volunteers, and there's all types of volunteer opportunities, from working on the grounds to working in the cafe. If you want to volunteer, they'll find something for you, definitely. Okay, are we ready to go outside?
We're ready, let's go.
Okay, now, actually, I guess we're going to what would be considered probably one of the most famous sights of all here, overlooks of all.
Yeah, the famous view of Fallingwater that I think most people imagine in their minds when they think of Fallingwater, where you can actually see the waterfall.
Which we've only seen a little bit.
Right, so far we haven't really seen it. We've heard it. We saw it from aerial view, from the top. We call it the iconic view.
The iconic view, okay.
Yes, we'll be able to see the waterfall.
Now, do you have a lot of people that come here? Like, can people come here and take pictures, like weddings and stuff like that? Do you rent it out, or?
So Fallingwater holds weddings at our barn,
Really?
which is across the road, across 381.
Okay.
You may have seen it. There's a sign that says the barn at Fallingwater.
Oh,
so
I did not. Okay, we'll have to look for that.
That is available to rent for special events, and throughout the season, it's pretty much booked with weddings almost every weekend.
I can imagine. And can they come here and take photos then?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
While the wedding doesn't actually take place inside Fallingwater, a lot of the couples will come over and have their wedding photos taken.
Oh my gosh, talk about a memorable wedding photo.
Yeah.
Oh my. So we were talking about it being open those 10 months. Now, are all of the trails, weather permitting of course, are they open like where we're walking now, or is this just seasonal?
Yeah, so even when we're closed during January and February, we remain open for grounds access. So people could come and they could walk the grounds, and even throughout the year when we're open, if you have already taken the tour, you can still return and you can just spend time hiking on our trails.
Oh, well that's cool. Oh, how nice. Well, that's something I didn't know about.
Yeah, and actually I mentioned the barn at Fallingwater. Behind the barn is the entrance to a really amazing system of trails, the Bear Run Nature Reserve, which is also...
okay, well, we passed on the way here.
Yeah,
okay.
That's maintained by us, the Western Pennsylvania Conservancy, and that's always free and available to the public. You can park at the barn and enjoy those trails.
Oh, okay. My goodness. And you know what, we were just saying we've never been there. Maybe that's another show. Oh my gosh. Talk about a view that takes your breath away. Oh. And you know what? Up until this very moment, even though I've been here before, I don't think I realized there were two sets of falls.
Yes, yeah. A big falls and a smaller one.
And this is Bear Run?
This is Bear Run, yes. The stream is Bear Run. From this angle also, you can get a sense of the size of these rock outcroppings that make up the falls. The rock shelf, underneath it, there's like a cave-like void.
I see that, yeah.
And now if you look above the falls, Wright has basically added another cave-like void and another rock shelf that's approximately the same size and shape of the rock ledge that you see.
Wow.
He really is just taking inspiration directly from the falls, and the house sort of grows up from
Goes
it.
up out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what we're seeing now, as far as coloring and everything, is this all original? Like the paint, the color, it's all how it was designed back then?
Correct. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
this is the color that Wright chose. The paint colors are yellow ochre on the concrete terraces. That's what the color is called. I think it has a pinkish tone to it, but that's the historic name of the color. And the red is historically, Wright called it Cherokee red.
Okay.
These paint colors are available through PPG, and I think the red is now called Fallingwater red.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, there you go, folks. You can
So you
have a little bit of falling water in your own backyard.
Yes,
literally.
yes.
Okay, well, before we finish up, I do know that there are a couple other properties in the area that you folks also like to help promote as well.
Yes, absolutely. You could potentially spend an entire weekend exploring the work of Frank Lloyd Wright here in the Laurel Highlands, or you could come back a few times throughout the year. We are located near Kentuck Knob, which is another Wright-designed house, and we're also near Polymath Park, where there are 2 Wright-designed houses and 2 houses designed by one of Wright's apprentices.
That's what you and I were just talking about.
Yes.
I didn't realize the apprentice houses were open, so that's pretty
Yes.
cool. And actually, if you don't realize it, as Ashley and I were saying, probably about 45 minutes. That would be, I mean, it's it's doable in a day, but I would take a couple days.
I think I would allow
Yeah.
multiple days, multiple visits, yes. There's so much to do in this area, even outside of Frank Lloyd Wright houses. We're really close to Ohio Pile State Park, and I already mentioned Bear Run Nature Reserve.
Which is literally like a mile up the road.
Yeah.
And for information, we have talked too about the free Fayette County days. They can get that on the website, as well as
Yes.
hours of operation. You said reservations can be made online.
Correct, yes.
And that'll give physical address. Anything you folks may have to need to know, you can get on the website.
Yes, yeah, and I highly recommend that you do that in advance of your visit. We are very popular and our tickets often sell out, so if you'd like to come for a tour, please make a reservation in advance to guarantee that you can get a tour.
Oh. Ashley, I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much for having us here today and to share this wonderful, wonderful gem with us. This has been wonderful. And folks, now remember, this is only a glimpse of what this place has to offer. You have to take a day and take the tour and just take some time to walk around the grounds and enjoy it. So again, I hope you enjoyed the show, and remember, keep smiling, keep dreaming, and keep watching.
Armstrong has been a part of Southwestern PA since 1966. Zoom Internet was first launched by Armstrong in the Connellsville system. Our Breaking Bread program began fighting hunger in our communities. Enhanced Wi-Fi delivered coverage, security, and control of your network. Zoom Extreme brought 1 gig internet to the community. And in 2022, Armstrong was named Independent Operator of the Year for the 2nd time. When you support Armstrong, you're supporting your local community.